Hi, I'm Kate, and this is my booktube. I'm here today to talk about City of Ashes from the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Well, that's a mouthful. So, I finished this book on Thursday, but I didn't have time until the end of today, Mother's Day, because I have been really busy, like extremely busy. So today, after hanging out with both of my grandparents, my mom, and getting a absolutely terrible sunburn, as you may be able to see here. Look at the sun. It's like a big difference. You can see the shade difference. Well, after all that, I was like, I have to make this book vlog because my best friend Rebecca said she needs to read this book again because the last book is coming out at the end of this month. So, I have to let her borrow it. So first of all, this is the book I'm doing. Second of all, isn't the cover beautiful? And third of all, let's get started. So, I am actually in the middle of City of Glass at the moment. Further than middle, I'm almost done. But I haven't done this vlog yet, so it might be a little rusty. Let's hope it sounds good. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, oh my gosh. What if you guys haven't read the book yet? If you haven't, leave. Now. I need you to leave. I know you don't want to, but you have to. I'm sorry I have to use this type of anger towards you, but if you haven't read the book, go read it and then come back. Because if you haven't read the book, you can't be here. Okay? Goodbye. Read the book, hopefully soon, because the last book's coming out at the end of the month. Please go. Okay, bye. You good? So the first thing I want to talk about is climbing. I've never been a big fan of climbing because I was always like, Clace. But for some reason, when I was reading this book, and I was going by hundreds, not realizing this, I was going by my favorite scenes. I was like, let's get to this scene, then I can stop. And these are the scenes that I was picturing. The first climbing kiss. Like real kiss when they're in the bed. That was my first one. Second scene. My second scene was Simon becoming a vampire. Yeah, that was my second scene. So, third scene, I think it was... No, it wasn't that one. No, that was the fourth one. I don't know, but three of these scenes had to do with Simon. And I didn't think I was that big of a fan. But while I read the scenes, I was like, I need to get this scene, I need to get this scene, I need to get this scene. And they were all climbing scenes, so I guess I must be kind of liking them. I mean, sure, I've always wanted Simon to find someone else, and for Clary and Jace to be in love, even though they think they're siblings in this book. Okay, they're siblings in this book. Yeah. But I kind of was surprised how much I liked them in this book. I mean, you kind of needed this, because you needed to see that Clary could not be with anyone else. You needed to see the whole difference there. So I really liked that, even though I wanted Clace, I saw climbing in this book, because if it was just Clary and Jace going, I want you but I can't have you, and I want you but I can't have you too, it would have been kind of boring. Don't you think? I feel like it would have been kind of boring. I feel like it would have been mega boring. Yeah. Okay, now I remember the third scene was the Fearless rune. That was the only scene I didn't have to do with Simon. My fourth scene was the Jace taking Simon's blood scene. So, three of my scenes had to do with Simon, and then one had to do with being fearless, because I love Fearless, right? Okay, got it. So, I really liked how they did the whole climbing thing in this book, even though I don't really like them at all. I really feel like that was never going to be a thing, no matter how much they put it in the book. But yeah, I like that they had it in there. Okay, now, favorite Clace moment. I'll wait for you to think of your answer, and then I'll give you mine. The was so obvious that they both still loved each other because she was like, the kiss that the girl wants most. And of course, as soon as the silly queen says that, they both look at each other and they're like, but that's not right! And you're like, how did you know we were talking about you two? How did you know? How? It's obvious. But everybody knew. Even though she was going out with Simon, everyone knew that the kiss she wanted most was with Chase. I loved it. I'm gonna be like this a lot. I'm a gigantic geek. Okay. Now, my favorite couple in this book, since I didn't care about Kleiman and Clace wasn't really a thing, like, no matter how much you wanted, they want a couple in this book. I gotta say, the one I've always liked the most, I've actually liked this the most through all the books, even though I can only talk to you about City of Ashes right now. The one I've liked through all the books. Malik. I love them. They're not even really a couple in this book either. No one's really a couple in this book, except for Kleiman, and then they break up at the end of the book. So, it's obviously Malik. I love them. Every little, thing they do while you know that they like each other, but they don't want to say it, and you're like, come on! There's no sibling thing going between you guys. You're completely open. I don't care if some people are against gay people. I don't care, okay? I really don't care. I love them. I loved them. And it was so... They were such a good couple. And I felt like there was nothing that was really stopping them except for Alec's own fears. That and that the fact that he thinks he's in love with Jace. Come on, get over that. Jace doesn't like you at all. I mean, okay, he likes you as a friend. He doesn't love you at all. Okay, like a brother, but you get my point. Malik was such a good couple, and I love them. And they were definitely my favorite couple in this book. Even if they don't actually count as a couple in this book. They're just so right. Everything about them is right. They're so cute, and just they look at every little glimpse where she says something, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a Malik moment in there somewhere. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I couldn't get enough of it. Between Clace moments, Kleiman moments, which I only liked because I like seeing it with someone else, even though I'm a Clace fan. And Malik moments, I couldn't get out of this book. It was great. I loved it. And yes, I read these books for the romantic moments, but I don't read romantic books because I like the action moments. I am a confusing person, okay? And I do read a few romantic books, but they're not as good. I like the action and the romance mixed together. Yeah. So, I read this book, and the first thing I can think is Clace. I have a problem. We should probably stop talking about the romance right now and talk about the plot. But I don't have much to say. Okay, so let's talk first. The Inquisitor. What do you feel about the Inquisitor? The Inquisitor. Am I saying that right? I feel like I'm saying it wrong, even though it's not a hard word, is it? I don't think it is. I don't know. But, so, I never really hated her. I felt like she was scared and that she was doing whatever she could to try to save people. And even though she was completely and utterly wrong, I never hated her. Everyone else hated her because they were in the book and all they saw was her anger. But when you're reading a book and you hear her words and you're going through them, you can understand that she's just scared. She's masking anger. She's masking her being scared with anger because she doesn't want people to see that she's scared and that, yeah, she is angry over all of those things that happen, but she's also scared because she really wants to be able to get Valentine back, and she's scared she can't. she is massively scared that she can't. And I liked her. I didn't like her. She was quite annoying and a big word I won't say because I don't swear. Especially on video. But I didn't hate her. I didn't. She had problems, but everyone has problems. And I didn't hate her. Okay. Now let's go to Moshe. I'm not saying that right, is it, Mary? It's like Maris. Maris? Maris. I think Maris is it. Okay. Maris Lightwood. I got really mad at her. She had no reason to kick Jace out. Jace has not changed. He's still Jace, and she kicked him out. Why would she kick him out? He didn't do anything wrong, did he? Just because he found out he's related to Valentine does not mean he did anything wrong. I started liking her. I forgave her at the end when she was like, what am I saying? When she was saying that she freaked out and that she's sorry and that she did it all for his benefit, but she's sorry. I understood that she was scared, but I still was mad at her when she first looked at Jace and was like, we're talking and I'm mad at you, and I was like, why? He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't. It's not his fault. Okay. Now, you guys know how I feel about Valentine. And if you haven't watched my City of Bones video to find out how I feel about Valentine, well, I hate him. I completely and utterly hate him. Okay? So I don't need to talk about him anymore. Okay, I do. So, I hated him even more in this book. I really have never liked Valentine. He used people, and he used Clary having friends to get back at her. He used Clary's friends, and that was terrible, and I didn't like it at all. I was so mad at him. He was just... he's an idiot. That's what he is. He thinks that he can turn people's ideas around because his ideas are different. And because his ideas are different, obviously he's right. And that is insufferable. I didn't even use that word correctly. Well, okay, so I didn't like him. I really have nothing more to say. I just really didn't like him. If you want to know more about why I didn't like him, ask me questions, because I really don't know how to explain that at the moment. I just hated him. Okay, now, here, one of my favorite and least favorite scenes of the book. Simon becoming a vampire. Because, though it was cool because he now becomes a more interesting character and he gets to go off of this, and then he becomes a daylighter, and that's great. But at the same time, I hate it because it was like this normal person, the one normal person in this book, has changed. Well, on that note, comment, like, dislike. I know Judy will. See you later. Man, that was a bad ending.